Welcome back. Okay, let's look at the second type of linear log questions. This time round, in the question itself, there will not be any diagram, so you probably have to draw it out to actually see for yourself which one is the y-axis and which one is the x-axis. So if you see this statement, when a graph of this is plotted against this, it will mean that actually y over x is actually on the y-axis, plotted against x is on the x-axis. Alright, and then this resulting line has a gradient of 5, and then there is a y over x intercept 0.25. That means this point here is actually 0.25, which is your y over x intercept. Okay, and then you're supposed to find the values of a and b. So with this, let's go back to the equation that is given. So you start from the equation. Now make sure that you get something like y over x in the next step of your equation. So what I want to do is I will divide throughout by x. So I will have divide by x, and then if I simplify, I have a okay, and then you notice that there is still a over this side. So what I want to do next is to actually divide throughout by a. Okay, so if you were to compare capital letter Y equals to mx plus c, okay, so from here straight away you can tell that actually the gradient is actually your m and is given by b over a, and then your y-intercept is actually 1 over a. So therefore, if that's the case, the intercept, which is 0.25, is actually 1 over a, and therefore the a answer is 4. And then let me put it back into this equation. So I'm given a gradient of 5. So 5 is equals to b over a, which is 4. So therefore b has got a value of 20. So that's your answer for a and b. Alright, so how about question 5 now? So similarly, let's read and see what kind of graph you will draw. So a graph of x against x squared over y. So therefore I will have x over this side, and then I will have x squared over y. Okay, and then I have a gradient of 3 and x-intercept of 4. So x-intercept of 4 means that this is the x and the intercept here is 4. Okay, so in this case you don't have an equation given in the first place, so you will just start using equation of line. And remember, equation of line is y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1, right? Okay, so the y is x minus, okay, this one is a bit tricky. I need a point. So in which case, this is the point. So this point is actually 0, 4. So therefore, and the gradient is 3. And then the x is x squared over y. minus 0. Okay, so let's just organize it a little. And I will get my y as this answer. Okay, and then the second part of the question, find the values of x when y equals to 48. So all I need to do is to sub in 48. Okay, and you can solve it, cross multiply, and you will get a quadratic equation. Alright, and then after that, when you factorize further, you will have something like this. It's a repeated root, so you have x equals to 8. That's question 5. Let's look at question 6 now. Question 6 is that kind of typical O-level question whereby you have to take log or ln. So same thing, let's draw the graph. Let's look at what they want. A graph of log y is plotted against log x. So when I draw, I should have log y over here, and then I should have log x over this side, and I have a gradient of 1.5, and the log y intercept is 1.2. So similarly, over this side is 1.2. Okay, so if you can remember, what should you do first? You can start from the equation, if the equation is given. So I have y equals to ax to the power of b. So I will take log on both sides. Apply the rules of logarithm. And then one more step. Bring down the power. Okay, let's identify which one is your M and which one is your C. Okay, this is your capital letter Y. This is your MX, and this is your y-intercept. So therefore, the gradient is actually M is actually B, and you know that you are already given that the gradient is 1.5. So 1.5 equals to B. That's your first answer. Let's look at A now. A is supposed to be the y-intercept. So y-intercept is 1.2 and is supposed to be log A. So therefore A will be, remember the LG, when you bring it over, is 10 to the power 1.2, which is approximate 15.8 3SF. So that's it, your answer for A and B. Now this type of questions are not so easy. I'll come back and show you the third type of linear log questions whereby you are given a graph and then you are supposed to get the answers for the gradient and y-intercept from the graph. Okay, that's it for part 2.